Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are here and we are live. This is our weekly broadcast we call Let's Chat. You see the topic, hopefully, information there. If you are watching, you will be watching this on Facebook Live. And please, by all means, let's chat. Feel free to jump in, comment, but know that because I'm using StreamYard, which affords me to be able to broadcast to a simulcast, I'm broadcasting to two different social media outlets in YouTube and Facebook. For those who are watching on YouTube, welcome. But if you want to comment on Facebook, I've pulled it up on my Facebook page, sound down, of course, so that I will be able to um, see who you are, because on my StreamYard, I'm not able to see exactly who's commenting at the moment. So that being said, you know me, this is going to be uploaded and available. So I don't wait in terms of people joining in and commenting and that type of thing. You can watch this back at your feel. This is on the YouTube page as well, the Victory in Christ Broadcasting page, which you don't have to be a Christian to go and take a look at these broadcasts. You're more than welcome to it and enjoy it. And if you want that link, I'll be sure to get that to you. But let's get into it. You know me, I don't like to dilly-dally. I like to get in, get out. So shoe drop syndrome. I wasn't going to read this, but if you didn't see my post a couple of days ago, just preparing for this broadcast, to give you an idea of what I would be talking about, I'm just pulling it up here real quick so I can give you the particulars that we would at least use as a foundation for this discussion. Again, for those who are joining at whatever point that you join, glad to have you with us. I want to take a minute here to pull up for some reason. All right, this is what I posted. The shoe drop syndrome. What can go wrong will go wrong, or will it? That slightly modified phrase encapsulates what the shoe drop syndrome is all about. It is the concern that a specific, now watch this, it is a concern that a specific event or circumstance will arise at the most unfortunate moment to reduce one's life, especially its progress, back to square one. Let me read that again. It is the concern that a specific event or circumstance will arise at the most unfortunate moment to reduce one's life, especially its progress, back to square one. How do we manage those fears concerning the presumed thought that this will eventually happen to us? How do we handle, and I definitely want to get to this one, how do we handle others' shoe drop fears who are in our communities? I definitely want to get to that one. But again, it is the concern that a specific event or circumstance or set of circumstances or events will arise at the most unfortunate moment, the most inopportune moment, right? To reduce one's life, especially the progress, back to a place where, you know, the progress is gone, essentially. Now, that's a working definition, if you will, so that we have something to work with, is why I wanted to read that. What is extremely important to this discussion, and will be going forward, is to recognize that people will have a modified view of this. Some, but we'll get into it, but some are no, Gabe, it's not just a particular set of circumstances or events. Some will argue against that. Some will argue the idea that it's just any bad experience, any negative happening. We'll definitely have to cover that. So there are variations. I tried to keep it general in my definition or presentation in my write-up for leading up to this, so that we're not so narrow that we can't have an open discussion. Now, here's a word that you got to deal with, that you got to deal with, and the shoe drop syndrome is grounded in this particular disposition. There's nothing we can do. There's no real argument against this. And even though I have admitted on these Let's Chat programs or broadcasts that I struggle with this, it's pessimism. It's pessimism. Let's just be honest. What undergirds, or if you want to say emotionally, or the emotional disposition that essentially drives this syndrome, and I'm using that word loosely, that drives this mentality, this way of thinking, is pessimism. I mean, you can't, let's just be honest. It's being pessimistic. There's no other way to say it. And I've openly talked about the fact that I'm a quiet optimist. In many regards, I am an optimist, and yet I struggle with pessimism. Not as much as I used to. Not as much as I used to. And so the undergird of this is pessimism. That the reality of it is, and just a working definition of pessimism is basically, it is a negative view. It is looking at the world through a negative lens. I mean, I can look it up in Webster's dictionary, but I think most of us would agree that a pessimistic view of life is a negative view of life. It's a negative lens. And that's the disposition, that's the feeling, that's the worldview, or that's the lens of looking through into life, and you just see the world from a very grady, negative way. So it doesn't matter what's going on. Have you ever met a person who'll get a raise and then somehow poke a hole in the raise? Well, it's only $1. I mean, what's $1? Or they'll get a new car. Well, they could have at least threw in a sunroof. That's a pessimistic person. But the syndrome piece, or the shoe drop piece, is not just pessimism. But we have to get that in. So a pessimistic view of life, a negative view of things. Now, most people are not going to be honest here. I will be, especially people who are people of religious faith, whatever your faith may be, because you're often challenged to see the world from a more optimistic, to give the world an optimistic, and the community and whatever your situation, a more optimistic appraisal. Now, for Christians, let me say this, that's not necessarily the case throughout Scripture. And I'm not obviously getting into that tonight, because that's not what we do on Thursday. But I would push back against someone who would suggest to me that the Bible is written from an optimistic viewpoint, because I could show you Scripture without giving interpretation, just simply read it, where the outcomes were quite negative. And to have a negative view does not diminish the view of the Scripture, right? So the Bible is not really pessimistic or optimistic, even though people who see life through pessimistic or optimistic lenses will say, no, Gabe, see, it says be strong in the Lord. Yeah, but it also talks about the wages of sin is death. Yeah, but it also says that the gift of God. So, that's nitpicking, but that's my point. The Bible is not optimistic or pessimistic, really. Or let me say it this way, and I'll get off this. For a sinner, the Bible is pessimistic. for a believer in Jesus Christ, the Bible is very optimistic. So, but that's not what the Bible's trying to be. The Bible's not trying to be pessimistic or optimistic. It's not. The Bible is just truth. It's just presenting truth. And of course, if you believe it, it's optimism. If you disbelieve it, right, that's pessimism. But the shoe drop syndrome, again, just a shoe drop, just a phrase used to coin a look at the world and really a look at one's life in the world. The shoe drop syndrome is really one's view of themselves in the world. And somehow something, what can go wrong, will go wrong. And even though people will have that sentiment in regards to others, we'll get to that, in regards to what's happening in the community, other things, it's often somehow, if you listen to them long enough, and I know it's hard to do, because it's hard to listen to a pessimistic person, even if you are one. you even have the nerve to go, well, I'm not as bad as he is or she is. Because it's hard to just listen to almost pure negativity on a constant basis. It's hard to do. I offer pastoral counsel. I offer some level of advice and counsel. And I'll be honest, it's difficult to listen to someone describe situations, events, circumstances in their life, in their community, and the more pessimistic they are, the more difficult it is to ingest it, to deal with it, right? But the shoe drop syndrome is essentially saying, I am prognosticating, I am prophesying, it depends on who you're dealing with. I am giving a psychic reading. I am prophesying, I am prognosticating, I am foretelling the future. That no matter what's going on now that seems to be upbeat, that seems to be good, instead of gray skies are going to clear up, put on that happy face. No, it's, let's see, it's sunny right now. It'll be raining later. Not that the person, now stay with me now, because I'm turning a corner. Not that the person actually has done any research to this end. Not that they have any knowledge. Well, my knee is hurting. And so, yeah, that means bad weather is coming. Gabe, you just don't know. My knee starts hurting, bad weather is coming. Now, of course, because of how Gabe is, I'll ask the question like, so your knee never hurts on good days or days with good weather? Well, I'm not saying that, Gabe. I'm just saying if my knee starts hurting, especially, and they start moving goalposts, and well, especially at 2. Yeah, if it starts hurting at 2, that means it's going to rain at night. And if it at 2 p.m. and if it hurts at 1 in the morning, that means it's going to rain before the, you know. Oftentimes, if you listen to those, you know, who espouse a shoe drop type syndrome or mentality, what you find is they don't really have any research. They don't really have any actual foundational knowledge. They don't have any facts. They don't have any proof. They don't offer much proof other than, watch this, their pessimism. Now, if I'm talking to strictly to believers, their unbelief. Again, because shoe drop, the notion of shoe drop is prophetic. It is prognostication. It's fortune or not fortune telling. It's unfortune telling. The idea of the shoe drop syndrome is to tell a unfortunate future. It is to say that at some point in the future, we'll get to that too, lot to get to, that at some point in the future, what can go wrong will go wrong. Now, there's a gentleman by the name of Stephen A. Smith who works for ESPN, and he works, well, several shows, including his own Stephen A. World. But the show he's most known for is First Take, which comes on very early in the morning, 6, 7 Eastern Standard Time, I guess is what it is. And I've watched the show for years, going back to the original host of Skip Bayless, and then he came on and Skip left and all this kind of thing. And when Mr. Stephen A. Smith, who is not a Cowboys fan, stay with me, not a Cowboys fan, and every season, of course, he's already started now. When the season comes, here's his description of what the Cowboy season will be. What can go wrong, matter of fact, I could almost say I got this definition from him over the years of watching the show. What can go wrong will go wrong for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he goes on to admit that his issue is not with the team often, it's not with the coaches necessarily, but it's with the Cowboy fans. Just saying that, moving on. So at least I offend my Cowboy fan viewers. So the reality of it is, what can go wrong will go wrong is it's just a description of shoe drop. That at some and he will say, and he said many times, as I said in my more description than definition, that it's at the most unfortunate time. It's at the most inopportune time. It's not just bad things happen. That's not it. Listen, the shoe drop syndrome or the shoe drop mentality is not just bad things happen. No, it is a bad thing is going to happen that will end the situation. Now, some will try to use, you said, Gabe, they don't have any evidence. Yes, I do. I use the set of unfortunate events. Now, this is getting into superstition. So you got pessimism, really, which is the driving force of this view. But with that is superstition. Let's just say it the way it is. That a part of this is superstition. Some of this is historical for some people. Gabe, again, you just don't know. Girl, you just don't know. Man, you just don't know. Last time I tried to do this, I tried to go to school, or I tried to get married, or I tried. Now think about what I'm saying. I tried to go to school, big event. I tried to get married, or I got married, and I just felt in my spirit. Now, some will get spiritual. I just felt in my spirit. And some, I felt it in my gut. I just knew, Gabe. I just knew that eventually. Now, they were married 23 and a half years. And they had ups and downs, as all marriages do. But I just knew, just one day when I looked across the aisle at her or at him, I just knew something would go wrong. I just knew. A bad situation would happen, and then they would go, well, we overcame that, so that's not so bad. That wasn't it. No, Gabe, something else is coming. I feel it in my elbow. Yeah, my left toe, my left big toe is itching. So I know something bad is coming. Now, older generations, and I love them dearly, were probably a bit more obvious with their shoe drop syndrome than some of us. I look at Facebook and Instagram, and I look at how people post memes and stuff like that. I don't really get off into memes, but I watch you, right? And you can see this. You can see this stuff coming in some of the videos that people share and some of the memes that people share, some of the things they post, right? Where they're just looking, they're just expecting, well, Gabe, what about plan for the worst, hope for the best? I'm glad you said. I'm glad you said that. Is that a shoe drop thing? No, that's wisdom. That's wisdom. You plan for what could go wrong. Could, but you don't assume it's going to go wrong. That's a different thing. There's planning. Okay, let's take some extra money on this trip just in case a tire goes flat, just in case we need to get some gas, just in case we have to stay at a hotel, something can go wrong. We run into some bad weather. We are traveling in the winter, right? Cool. That's planning. That's wisdom. Shoe drop will take the same trip and go, yeah, because every time we travel, nothing ever goes right. Yeah, it's probably going to be right just before we get there. I know. Just before we see, that's shoe drop. Taking a little extra something, that's just planning. But the shoe drop person is the person who's just automatically prognosticating. They're automatically telling the future. I'm telling you right now, something go wrong. Now, I don't mean no disrespect. And from what I'm about to say. But there's a point where I look over at a person like that. Would you just shut up? Hey, but you know. Now, notice, soon as something looks like it's going to happen, what do? Yeah, see, I told you. These are the people. Now, stay with me now. These are the people when you're on the trip. What's wrong with you? Why are you looking like that? You hear that? I don't hear that. What you hear? I hear knocking. Did you check the oil? Yeah, I checked the oil. What's that? I hear something. No, man, let's pull over. Keep the car running. Yeah, I think, did you take it to the mechanic? Look, stop bugging me. The shoe drop person, watch this, they're not just pessimistic, superstitious, they're paranoid. Now, that's not necessarily funny, since I've already admitted that I have my days, and actually more than days, which is why I really wanted to do this subject, because for me, this is therapeutic. I'm actually doing my own therapy right now as I'm talking about this subject. The reality of it is, now again, most people don't want to admit this because they know how it sounds. So you got pessimism is the disposition, right? That's the attitudinal disposition. That's the feeling. That's they're apprehensive. They're pensive. They're always. Why? Because the fact is they're superstitious. These are the people that's got to wear a certain thing. They got to do a certain thing. Why? I used to play sports, so I saw this all the time. Yeah, what happened was the reason why we didn't win is because I didn't wear my lucky socks. You mean the ones that you've been wearing for 8 weeks that's stinking up the locker room? I remember Coach Speckman, they call him Speck Dog. Coach Speckman told some of them superstitious jokers, hey man, take them clothes home and wash them. Because the locker room was stinking. Yeah, granted, we were winning. But some of them players, nah, man, I don't want to wash these. I had a good game. I don't want to wash these. I had a good game. You got the baseball gods and the football gods and the and the basketball gods. I missed the layup. Yeah, the basketball gods didn't want me to. That's all a part of that shoe drop. These are just kind of humorous explanations for why your team didn't win the Super Bowl. Your team didn't win the Super Bowl because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were better. That's why. It wasn't because you dropped your 4-leaf clover in the toilet accidentally. It wasn't because you didn't take your left step first and then your right step like you always do on game day. That's superstition, driven by pessimism, waiting for the shoe to drop on your team because this year we got the best quarterback we've ever had, and man, we got a good coach this time. And granted, we've gone through 4 coaches, and in the last 5 seasons. But yeah, in 1 year, they're gonna flip it, they're gonna turn it around, and we're gonna just be on our way. Gabe, don't tell me it's not possible. Look what happened to Tampa Bay. That had a ridiculous defense, and some would suggest the best quarterback in NFL history. I wonder if those factors had anything, one of the best tight ends to ever play the game, and Gronk, and then they end up getting one of the best receivers of this era, on and on and on and on and on. That could have something to do with it. And a coach who said, okay, Mr. Brady, go do your thing. My bad for trying to coach you. That could have something to do with why they ran the table and won the Super Bowl. Not you dropped your 4-leaf clover, not because your wife accidentally washed your lucky draws, anything like that. Now, that's a humorous thing, but the reality of it is, let's get a little bit more serious. The shoe drop syndrome can actually be dangerous because now you're raising your children, or you're moving across the country, as I've done on more than one occasion. You're doing some very serious things. You're considering. Had a wonderful conversation, doing work. Wonderful conversation with a young lady a couple of days ago, who's struggling with whether or not to relocate, to move to she in Texas, to move to closer to one group or another of family members, and I did my best as I could to help her flush that out. That's what I do. And in there, she admits, here's another emotion, fear. And that fear is very specific. Now, we didn't go that deep into it because she was very much open about the things that have been hindering her. But she said, fear, I know it's fear. I know it's fear, this, that, and the other. So this is a very serious mentality. And I'm telling you, I have gone through, even though I've moved across the country, even though I've moved by faith, I believed in something, I moved on it. It didn't mean that when I got here, I wasn't just waiting for that moment. And one of the things that helped me, which is why I want to do this broadcast, is to talk it out and to maybe get somebody who's watching this or will watch this to start talking it out, as that young lady did. And I've had these types of conversations with many people, especially in the last few years, as I've myself pushed my belief. Now, of course, I am a Christian and I believe in God. So I didn't just, it wasn't a faith move and gave, but that's a conversation for another time. And same thing for her. She's a Christian. So now, for those who might not be Christian, I'm talking with you as well. Whatever you're facing, and the pandemic has forced us. Another good reason for this subject is because the pandemic has forced us to face our pessimism. Because some would suggest what could go wrong has gone wrong. Wow. Now, this is not in my write-up, but let's go there. So we know pessimism, we know fear, we know foretelling a negative future, right? We know this is a prognosticating the worst that could possibly happen, and we know we're talking about an isolated set of events or event or circumstance. This is all the stuff we've covered so far, right? We know we're talking about not only pessimism, but we're talking about a person who what was the word that I used? Not pessimism, but a person who has a low view of everything. I'm sorry, the word escapes me now. It starts with a P. Forgot it. If you remember it, type it in for me. But the reality of it is, this person is always going to be looking at everything again from this, looking through these lenses to say, everything I'm seeing, I see the glass half empty. I should have put that in my write-up as well. The glass is always half empty. So that means I'm always almost at the end of my rope. I'm always at the point where it's just not going to work out for me. Gabe, it's just not going to work out for me. Here's a phrase that's a bold-faced lie. It never works out for me. Never. Nothing ever goes right. And then somebody who's an eternal optimist, I call it the cheerleading syndrome. I'm not going to do a video on that. I call it the cheer. I used to tell people, you must have been a cheerleader. Why do you say that, Gabe? Because you are an eternal optimist. I mean, goodness gracious. You are an eternal optimist. Just blows my mind. So the reality of it is, sorry about that. So the reality of it is, people see me on and they message me for some strange reason. But What is extremely important that I want you to get is that at some point, because some of this stuff can get really, really serious, is that we have to face, we have to face ourselves. We have to face the nature of the situation. We have to face the reality. We have to face the reality that, one, we might very well be lying to ourselves. And that, in fact, more often than not, while there are very unfortunate events that do happen, there are very difficult circumstances that do happen. People die every day, but there are people born every day. So those things nullify themselves, right? There are people who lose their jobs every day, but there are people who get new jobs every day. So those things count. See what I'm doing here? If you want to overcome this kind of disposition, pessimistic disposition, you have to be truthful. And I already told you that people of the shoe drop syndrome have a tendency not to be truthful. They have a tendency not to tell the truth. Now, I could do the flips. I may do a whole broadcast on the people who are lying to themselves, the eternal optimists, because there is some lying that goes on. There is some lying that goes on with the eternal optimist. I may do that at another time. But the reality of it is, the one to me that's most dangerous is the pessimist. It is the shoe drop person, because they already have decided that it's going to go wrong anyway. So guess what happens? Here's the big phrase that I want you to log in your brain: self-fulfilling prophecy. See, I told you that the shoe drop syndrome is prophetic, or is prognostication. It is trying to tell the future. So a person who has a pessimistic disposition, thank you, Ms. Jones, pessimistic disposition will literally work, think, act in a way to make sure that their interpretation of the events of life is going to bring to pass, or has brought to pass, whatever they're saying. Nobody except those who are trained in this saw during the Obama administration, no matter what you feel about the man, they forecasted, given Ebola had come and SARS won, and many other pandemic level diseases had already come. I think in the last 10 years, 10 to 15 years, there's been, what, 8 or 9 of them? So they put together a team of people just to deal with this kind of thing. Now, again, doesn't matter how you feel about these particular people, but Donald Trump came and dismantled the group. So that meant we were not, as a country, ready, of epidemiologists and all of this. We were not ready. Now, it just is what it is. This is historical fact. Say whatever you want to say about politics. I don't care. The fact is that Mr. Obama, at least under his administration, said we need to look at what's happening in the world. There are pandemic level plagues that keep, Ebola, SARS-1, that keep popping up. So we need to get a team of people together. Again, what did I tell you earlier? That's just wise planning. Not we're going to make it happen. See, what happened with whatever can go wrong will go wrong. That person often deals with a self-fulfilling prophecy type disposition, that we will make it go wrong. We will make it happen. And therefore, which is why I use my example, we will make extraordinarily, remember my broadcast from last week, bad decisions when we operate from a what can go wrong will go wrong disposition. If you are pessimistic, even though I suffer from that from time to time, I have to catch myself, because if I don't, I'll start making decisions. I mean, big old life decisions. Hear me how serious this gets. People who operate from this place, Gabe, you just don't understand. No, I do understand, because ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be transparent. I have made decisions from a shoe drop, what can go wrong will go wrong disposition. I'm just going to be honest with you. I have done it. I have tried to get out in front of storms that I was thinking in my own head was going to happen. It's just going to happen. I'm not going to be any good at it, or this is just not going to work for me, or this, that, and the other. And I built myself up, and I got all antsy and all nervous, and I just told myself it ain't going to work. And so I just shut myself down. I shut myself down, and I don't know if it ever would have worked. I don't know if the situation ever would have worked in my favor. I don't know. I shut myself down by my own pessimism, by my own self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, I'll just quit it while I'm ahead. I'll just give in. I literally got to a point, now this was many, many years ago, but I literally got to the point I was quitting everything because I was so convinced that I wasn't going to be able to handle it, be good at it, take care of it, whatever the case may be. So I was quitting left and right, quitting jobs, just, I was quitting social interactions. I was quitting. I was running. I was scared. Now, maybe that's nobody that's listening to me now or later, but Gabe is willing to admit that pessimistic shoe drop, what can go wrong will go wrong disposition was plaguing me. And I pray that no one got hurt by my decisions. I pray no one did, but I'm sure somebody did. A mother and a father who lives this way, you know what you do to your children? You shelter them. They can't experience anything. They can't go anywhere. Oh, I understand. I'm a parent. I've been a step parent in my lifetime. And I understand wanting to protect your children. But then there is overprotection. There is extremes here. And this shoe drop syndrome can get extreme. Hear me now. Let's get serious now. This can get extreme. Your poor son or daughter can't even try to breathe without you right there. What you doing? Where you going? They'll never have any sense of themselves. They'll never have any sense of they can do. Now I'm going to tell you this, and I love my mother dearly, but truth be told, I grew up in an environment where I had a father, I have a father who is not an eternal optimist. He's what some call a realist. He's just, real. Bad things happen, but you live your life. You take some chances to get done some things you want to get done. That's what you got to do. My mother, on the other hand, was pretty much drug along. She had she took chances when she was absolutely forced to do it, but there was a disposition that she had, and I essentially got it from her. Now, I don't put it all on her, but the reality of it is I did inherit that disposition from her. I'm just being honest with you. And these are the things that you've got to do if you ever want to make a substantial change. Now, my thing is, don't beat yourself up. Yeah, Gabe, I did raise my kids that way, and I feel so bad. I tell them all the time, I'm so sorry, kids, that I didn't let y'all play sports. I'm so sorry, kids, because I didn't want y'all to get hurt. I didn't let y'all go nowhere to nobody's house, no friend's house. I didn't let y'all do nothing. I didn't let y'all go on field trips because I thought the bus was going to break down and you was going to be hungry. And, well, okay, maybe you did do that. And, it is what it is. But stop whining and crying about it. I'm almost done. As you see, I'm moving on to the solutions now. Stop whining and cry about it. Who knows how old your kids may be? If you got some grandkids, do something different. Stop telling your kids, hey, don't let them play sports. I didn't let you play sports. Hey, protect my grandkids. Hey, mom, these my kids. Well, I know they're your kids, but it's dangerous out there, son. It's dangerous. Yeah. You gonna let them go? Yeah. You gonna let them do? Yeah. Well, I just don't agree. And you don't talk to your grown kids for 8 weeks because they letting their kids, their biological children, not yours, engage in activities that you was too pessimistic, too shoe drop syndrome. What can go wrong will go wrong. See, look, you looked in the newspaper. See, now that's newspaper. That's back in the day. See, showing my age. See, kids, see why I didn't let you go? See why I didn't let you go? Look what happened. Look what happened. Crazy accident. That could have been y'all. That could have been y'all. Mom, that wasn't even here. Yeah, I know, but you know, stuff happened now. Stuff happened, and your mom wasn't wrong. Stuff do happen. My mom wasn't wrong. There are things that happen that are unfortunate. Freak accidents, yes. But just like there are freak accidents and negative things that can happen, there are also wonderful things that can happen. I met a lot of wonderful people when I played sports. I engaged in activities. Now I wasn't being prohibited from that, but I'm just telling you that for those who didn't allow their kids to engage, that I learned some things socially by going to school dances. And if I'm not allowed to do those things, if I wasn't allowed to do those things, I think socially I would have been stunted. And I know grown people my age and older, you could almost tell they were extremely sheltered. And I mean well into their adult life. I'm not just talking about till 18. I also know some who, as soon as they turn 18, because they were so sheltered, here's what happens. Listen to me why the shoe drop thing can be so dangerous. Because now they go into some kind of strange rebellion. They're grown, so they're not really rebelling. But now they're out there wilding out because they're just trying to overcome all the being sheltered and just kept, you know, yeah, but Gabe, I just wanted them to have a good life. See the kind of explanations we start giving ourselves? Well, they had a good life. They never wanted for anything. No, they wanted to go outside without you. No, they wanted to go to the party without you. They wanted to go to their friend's house without you. They wanted to go to the dance and you didn't chaperone. They wanted to breathe without breathing in your air. For those of us who are grown, which is all of us, because I don't have any kids on my Facebook page and on my YouTube, I don't assume. In our lives, we have to be very cautious. You have to be very cautious. I think if some of us are honest, we probably lost a job behind something like this. I think if we're really honest, we may have destroyed our marriages. Woo! Did that one hit? We might have lost a boyfriend or a girlfriend behind this. We might have lost a job opportunity behind this. I talk to people from time to time. Gabe, I want to move. I want to relocate. I'm like, okay. Well, you know, I don't know. Like I told you, I had a conversation the other day trying to help a young lady work through. I was like, make the move. Well. I was like, well, you got certain things in place. You got family, this. Yeah. But then I noticed as we kept talking, yeah, but, you know, this happens and this. And I understand that. She's given an assessment of the situation. But the reality of it is, I was like, you already have the solution in what you're saying. You already have it. But here's what we got to do to combat this. We've got to do our research. If you want to overcome being too pessimistic, shoe drop, anything that can go wrong can go, you got to do some research. But watch this. You've got to do research from a balanced view. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. In other words, don't just go and intentionally find all the worst things possible and then go, see, Gabe said do research. I did research and this don't work out for nobody. That's a lie. Let's use moving since I've done that, a few times. And I haven't just moved up the street. Oh, I did that. I've moved across the country. 1, 2, Three. I moved across the country 3 times. Across the country. And every time, now again, I told you I'm a Christian. So my faith was not ultimately in myself. I didn't put my faith in me. I put my faith in something beyond me, right? But even if you're not a Christian, okay, do your thing. But you gotta have some faith in something. You gotta believe in something. In other words, you gotta have a hope. You gotta have an expectation. Yeah, but Gabe, what if it goes wrong? What if I hope for something that doesn't come to pass? That does happen in life, but we also hope for things and they do come to pass. And by the way, that doesn't always mean God. It's just life itself. People put in applications with a hope to get a job. And eventually they put in enough applications, they get one. Yeah, but I wanted a certain job. Okay, but you put in applications at jobs that you thought you could work or you might potentially want to work. And did you get a job? Yes. So then the shoe did not drop. At least in a negative way, because you did. Yeah, okay, so not everybody always gets the job they want. But how about go work the job that you did get? And what if it becomes a job that kind of grows on you? And you might find, you know what, this wasn't the job I actually wanted, but this has proven to be a good job. So what I'm saying is you got to do your research, but you got to do it from a place of expectation and hope. Don't just do research where you already got a negative slant, you got a negative bend, and so you're going to just examine everything, quote unquote, 2 or 3 pieces of literature or conversations with people in the jobs or relationships or whatever. So for example, let's use relationship. I'm a single guy. Let's use relationship. I've learned in talking to people who want to get into a relationship, or so they say. What I find so fascinating is a lot of people, and of course, most of these would be women, so happen to be very negative. Again, I can look at your Facebook pages. I can look at your Instagrams. I'm not on Twitter and all that, but I can look at your Facebook pages. I can look at your Instagrams, and I can easily tell that a lot of you ladies, now I can't talk about gentlemen necessarily, though I've seen some of them, a lot of you ladies are extremely shoe drop oriented. What can go wrong will go wrong, and yet keep talking that you have a hope and an expectation to get into a relationship. Wait a minute, hold on. How do those things come together? See, now you got to talk to me now. Let's chat. Let's chat now. Let's chat. See, you got a negative view of men or women. You got a negative view of relationships because none ain't never worked out for you, Gabe. Ain't none, never, none, never, which is double negative, and you're not supposed to do that. I just violated all kind of stuff. So you got a negative view of men. You got a negative view of women. You got a negative view of marriage. I ain't never. Now here's one I get all the time, and I'm not calling nobody's name. I'm never going to get married again. Well, well, I mean, you know, if it's presented to me, I might do it, but no, I ain't gonna never get married again. But never say never. They're literally talking to themselves. They're having a full argument with themselves, and I'm just like, well, which one is it? Never get married again, get married again. What are you going to do? No, I don't want to live with the person. That's not right. That's not right. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But I want to get into a relationship. I want to get into a relationship. Come on, man. I could read, and I'm on some of these social sites, people call them dating sites. I'm on some of these sites, man. And I ain't going to lie. I crack up. I crack up. I really do. I read the profiles. Them profiles are so negative, so pessimistic. I mean, you know, do you really hope? Is there any good men out there? Does anybody date anymore? I'm like, God, dog, you draining me and I don't even know you. Your whole profile reads like a train wreck, and yet you can't figure out why you don't get more than responses to your pictures. Have you read your profile? I'm just asking. Your whole profile seems to sound like a train wreck. Like you're just expecting the worst man, the worst woman possible. So I don't want this. I don't like this. Don't come at me with this. Don't talk to me about this. Don't send me this. I don't want none of this. None of this. You use more characters to describe what you don't want. Listen to me. If you got a profile on one of these sites, listen to, I'm going to help you right now, especially if you're a woman. Go back, reread your profile, and ask yourself, if you was a man, would you talk to you beyond your looks? Would you talk to you beyond your looks? On this basis, how negative your profile sounds. I'm just saying. Because all the, nope, I don't want this, I don't want that, don't come in with this, don't come in with that, don't do this and that and this, don't talk to me about this, don't say this to me, don't say that, don't talk to me, don't talk to me, don't talk. You basically saying, don't talk to me, please talk to me. I got a profile, I want you to talk to me, but don't talk to me. Don't say nothing to me, because I ain't about these games. I ain't about no games. Well, you in the game of life, and you're trying to play the game of love. It's a game. People, I mean, you know, you got to get to know each other. It's, you know, make it fun. It's a game. I understand what you mean. I get it. But come on, man. Those profiles are negative. I ain't lying to you, man. Them things are negative. You are a shoe drop syndrome. I don't care if you want to admit it. I'm going to tell you what you are. You are a person, what can go wrong will go wrong. So you wrote your whole profile as what can go wrong will go wrong. And you think what you're trying to do is ward off all the bad, and the bad ones don't care what you said. That's why they're the bad ones. Have you noticed that? They still message you when you tell them not to message you? Have you noticed that they could care less when you tell them don't send certain kind of pics? Have you noticed they don't care if you say you got to live in the same area? They still talk to you anyway. If you got to be a certain age, they still talk to you anyway. They don't care if you say I want a certain race preference, a certain height preference. They don't care. So all your negative writings ain't stopping them. How about you talk glowingly about what you want? How about you write a profile that seems to speak up and suggest that you are a man or a woman of expectation and hope? That if you really want to get married, that's how you talk. You talk like a person. Talk about marriage. Talk about it. If you want to get married, go back to your singles profile on whatever site you're on and talk about that thing. I am looking for the man. I am looking for the woman who will light my candle, who will make it burn on both ends. I ain't gonna get into it, but I'll be preaching here in a minute. I'm looking for the man who knows how to articulate and to say words in such a way that'll make me just want to melt all in his hands like milk chocolate. You know, you got to, don't get me started on here. I'll be done got y'all married. Don't get me started. Y'all be married tomorrow. I ain't no matchmaker though. I ain't no matchmaker. Don't call me about Gabe. So you gonna help me get a man? No, I ain't no matchmaker. But all I'm saying is, if you operate from a shoe drop kind of place, what can go wrong will go wrong. You don't realize. I hate this word the way we used it, but for the sake of the conversation, you give off a vibe. There's a way you carry. I done had way too many women tell me, Gabe, some people say I'm mean. And I'll be like, I'll be like, okay. If you give off the facial expression, like if you don't get away from me right now, I got a taser in my purse. What you want brothers to do? Now, I'm not here to talk about men and women. I didn't mean to get off into that. But I'm just saying, if you look like you carrying a gun, a loaded gun, like you're a shooter, brother, in a minute. If he even look at you sideways, what you want him to do? What you want him to do? That brother ain't got a chance in Hades. See how I fix that? Hades. Let me get done. So I didn't mean to get off into that, but it was just funny to me. Sorry. So the reality of it is, if you got a shoe drop mentality, if you're under the impression it's gonna go wrong, I'm gonna just say what I keep saying, and nobody listening to me. Leave dating alone. Leave it alone. You don't have the right disposition for a person to want to be in your life. You just don't. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. If you are negative and you justify, listen to me, if you justify your negativity about yourself and about others, do not get into a relationship. I don't care how fine, how handsome, how much money you got, whatever you think is your greatest asset, do not get into a relationship, because why should anybody's life be drugged down into the muck and the mire? Why should somebody have to, you might be as pretty as all get out, but you ugly, no, I mean, no disrespect, I'm not calling nobody's name, but you ugly to me because that negativity. Okay, how was your day? Okay. Just okay? Yeah. Did anything happen today that was good? And I got to sit there like pulling teeth. Come on, come on. Did anything happen? Well, first of all, I sent you a text. I called you, didn't I? That's a good thing, right? Oh, well, yeah, I like hearing from you. Just blow my brains out. I can't do it. You know, I'm not saying this is why I'm single, but I ain't gonna lie. I can't do it. I don't have the energy, my man, brother Nate, man. I don't have the energy, Nate. I can't do it, man. Again, I'm not like the eternal optimist, but you know, how was your day? It was good, Gabe. You know what? It was so-so. Well, how was it so-so? You know what? Some things happen good, some things happen bad. That's most people. That's most people. For example, it rained today. Okay, that's not bad or good necessarily. It's just rain. That's not bad or good. It's just rain. Well, you know, it's raining outside. Okay, and? Well, you know, I don't like the rain. Do you take a shower? Because you know what rain is? Water falling down. I'm sorry. I got to get refocused. Come on, people. I mean, look, I'm being funny because I'm trying to keep it light. But the reality of it is, I run into, and I told you, I suffer from this from time to time. You know what I do? I try to stay to myself. When I know I'm in that pessimistic kind of place, I'll go in. Okay, I stay to myself. Hold on. I don't go into depression. Stay with me. I literally go watch comedy, or I'll laugh at a funny meme. I'll get on Facebook because I know, and I can say some names of people. They gonna post something hilarious. That's just, they're upbeat people. They gonna post something hilarious. I can easily count real quick. Or I can talk to my brother, my sister, my boy David McGee, I've known for 30-something years. I could just go, and there are people who will lift my spirits. Bam, I'm good. So I have my moments. I'm not going to lie. But I don't prognosticate anymore. I don't decide that my whole future is bleak because I'm not feeling it today. But the pessimist, the shoe drop person, I want to make sure you get my point. The shoe drop person particularly, the what can go wrong will go wrong. No, they just having a bad moment where they're not feeling it. I get that. We all do. No, this ain't gonna work, Gabe. This ain't gonna work. I don't even know why I'm trying. I don't even know why I'm trying. Look, if you got a family member on drugs, have you ever heard of an intervention? Let me just get serious real quick and I'm done. You got a family member on drugs. Have you ever heard of an intervention? Have you even tried it? No. Well, then how do you know they can't get off drugs? How do you know? How do you know? Now, I've shared this openly before. I had a 31-year addiction to pornography. I do not look at pornography anymore. I haven't for 7 years. Gabe, how you do it? How you do it? I'll be honest with you. One of the things I had to do, I won't give it the whole list, is I had to look at my life more optimistically. I had to see relationally and see women and I mean a whole host of things. I had to realize I was seeing things negatively. Alcoholism, whatever that particular drug, shopaholics, whatever. If you have an addiction issue, you're going to have a change of view. Now, if you're the person, because this is on my list and I'm done. If you are around a person who is a shoe drop person, don't keep trying to encourage them in the particular thing that they're telling you is going to go wrong. That will drive you nuts. Let me say it again. If you so happen to have someone around you who tends to be what I've described repeatedly, what can go wrong will go wrong. And you just have to deal with them. They work at your job, they in your house, they may even sleep in your bed, might be your husband, might be your wife, they might be one of your children, might be your parents, might be your aging parents, I don't know. But here's some things you can do. And here's what I recommend. I'll just do it this way. What I recommend above all things, don't try to be uplifting, because what will happen is they'll use you. They'll drain you dry. So they'll intentionally be negative so that you can counter their negativity with positivity, right? They'll literally be waiting for you to say something. Yeah, I don't know what kind of day it's going to be. Oh, no, it's going to be a good day. Well, I don't know why you're saying that. They're trying to get you to do this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, you know what, girl, you lifted my spirit. Do you have friends like this? I'm trying to cut this off, but do you know people like this? My boy, my friend in California, occasionally, and if you watch it, I love you, man. But dude, you can be negative, man. I love you. I ain't calling no names. Don't say anybody to who you are. But that brother called me, man, these people, this. Dude. and he know I'll go there. See, it's where you got to be careful, because now I love my brother. Hey man, I'm there. I'm here for you. But man, these people will have you join them in what they used to call a pity party when I was a kid. I don't really do well at pity parties because I'm always generally, kind of, energetic, upbeat. And when I'm not, I'm trying to sleep. Or I'm just being thoughtful about something. I'm thinking about something. So if you have people around you like this is a way to counter this, right? Don't go, why you always negative? That's an attack. Don't attack them. Like if you attack people, you really want them to be open with you. So don't go, why you always negative? You get on my nerve. Oh, because now you're being negative and you're attacking them. So don't do that. I've been there, done that, never worked. I'm just tell you the truth. It doesn't work. Try this. So what you're saying is that no matter what happens today, your belief is that it's going to go wrong. Now, I want you to take a minute and think about what I just did. So just say it's something's going to happen at the job, right? So yeah, hey man, what's up, man? Oh, I'm heading to work. Oh man, I got to go into this job, man. You know how it is. Opportunity. So hold on, man. I noticed you said that a lot. Man, this job. Okay, yeah, jobs do have some negativity. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. You know what? Jobs do have some negativity on them. Some jobs have more negativity than others. But let me ask you this. Is there anything at all about your job that you like? Got him, as my son would say. Is there anything about your job? This is my dad. I got it from him. Is there anything about your job at all that you like? Well, and you'll notice, oh, yeah. You just caught them. The reason why they're doing that is because you got them. Let me give you another scenario. We ain't even got to stay on that one. Man, my wife getting on my nerves. She always nagging me. Okay. You know what? I acknowledge that. Sometimes some wives can nag. You're right. I won't even disrespect you, man. You're absolutely right. Some, S-O-M-E, not all, some can nag. But let me ask you this. But let me ask you, I'm a man of questions, man. Let me ask you this. Does she nag literally the entire time? No. I don't mean your perception. Does she nag 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Well, no, man. No, I'm just saying, watch this. You might hear something like this. No, just when it comes to me wanting to go play golf. Oh, so she's nagging about golf, or she's nagging about the money, or she's nagging about the fact that you don't spend time with the kid, or whatever. So she don't always nag. Matter of fact, is she even nagging you? Now, I already told you, I know some women can nag. I know. But let me ask you this. Is she nagging you when she brings up about the kids and your time with the kids? Well, I just feel like she is. Remember what I told you? A pessimist, right? Superstitious. That's the word. Superstitious. Paranoid. There it is. Paranoid. Man, I want to go play golf, but I just know he paranoid. Dude, is she really nagging you? Now, again, I'm not saying women don't nag. Men nag. Did you get it? Did you buy that? Did you go over there? Did you cook this? One more quick scenario. Hopefully it'll help. So we got the relationship. We got the job. How about this? Man, this car. This is to yourself. Man, this car. I just know this car going to break down. Here's what you say to yourself. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Is that it? Yeah, I'm done. Well, Gabe, I thought that's supposed to be optimistic. No. That's a true appraisal that cars are not eternal. Cars are not Jesus. Cars are not spirits. Cars are manufactured by flawed human beings. I don't care if you pay $150,000 for a Stingray or a Bentley or whatever you buy. Guess what? Eventually, that car, given the set of time, mileage, and a whole host of other things, I'm not a mechanic, don't ask me. Given enough time, that car will absolutely break down. You're correct, sir. You're correct, ma'am. You're right. And then add on, if you didn't change the oil, self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't get the tires rotated eventually, if you don't change the tires, self-fulfilling prophecy. If you don't put gas in the thing, self-fulfilling prophecy. You deserve to be broken down because you didn't put gas in it. Because you didn't get the oil change every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. Because you didn't do a tune-up every so often, you deserve for the cotton picking car to break down. Yeah, I said it. So will the car break down? Yeah. It's a natural thing. Will your cell phone break? No matter how well you take care of it? Yes. They are manufactured for you to buy one every so often. As a matter of fact, they really want you to buy a cell phone every year. Will your favorite game system break? Yes. Will relationships have difficulty? Absolutely. Will your money be funny sometimes? Yes. unless you're stank rich. Your money will be funny. Those things are just true to life. So when you are a pessimist and you're trying to overcome it to yourself, last scenario tells you, just tell yourself the truth, but be honest. Don't be weighing against it. Well, the car broke down. Congratulations. Your car has joined many other millions of cars. It broke down. Now, what are you going to do about it? Sit here and cry or call a mechanic? Well, why I got to break down now? I was on my way to the concert. It just had to break down now. Wait a minute. Did you know you were going to a concert on Friday? Yes. When did you buy the tickets? 2 months ago. So for 2 months, did you do anything to your car to make sure that 2 months later, you'd be able to make it to your concert? It's called maintenance. Did you start preparing to do something to the car to make sure that the car would not break down? Did you get the tires rotated? Did you make sure that they weren't worn out? Did you check your battery life? Did you see if there's enough water in it? Yeah, water, acid, fluid. Did you check your spark plugs? Did you get a checkup on it? Did you come up with another means of transportation just in case your car would have unforeseen issues? You mean to tell me, Gabe, I could? Yes. Did you check to see how much a plane, a train, a bus, Uber, a Lyft, a taxi? Did you ask a friend for a ride? Pay for their ticket? Hey, they got a better car than you. Did you make provision? I told you there's a difference. Or did you go, I'm buying this ticket, but I just know something gonna go wrong, and then you sat there and let the self-fulfilling prophecy of your inaction cause a problem? I'm done. I'm done. I hope this is a benefit. Share it for others. Tag them in it. This is on my YouTube channel. If you want to be able to send this to people on Messenger and text message and other places, grab it off my YouTube. That's Victory in Christ Broadcasting channel on YouTube. Look it up. I got the green logo with the cross in the middle. Again, I hope this is a benefit. Thank you for those who commented. I'll have to check that scripture out, my brother. But have a great night. We'll see you next week with a fresh new topic. Oh, quickly, if you have topics. Now, yes, I'm a pastor. Yes, I'm a Christian. Yes. But on Thursdays, we don't do what does Psalm 144 say. We do that on Tuesdays. So on Thursdays, we do life topics. So shoot me some suggestions in Messenger, what you think I should cover. I'll look at it. Maybe we'll chat about it a little bit. And then if I think it's something we can do, then I'll do it. I have taken 2 or 3 suggestions in the year I've been doing this. And so we've done it. So that being said, again, have a great night. See you next Thursday.